I can add.
We do.
He records, but
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't do it if he does it.
Did you get my flyer? I went to your house.
Yeah, I could have got it now.
I'm gonna do full screen.
I thought it was me, I just got it, but no.
Yeah, are you in charge of letting people in now? This is the one that they see.
okay.
Promise you I go to your
That
house.
was a call.
I made it over there.
I think it just likes to. Get those spicy.
Wow. But I ain't doing it. You gonna come on.
Let me.
You send that to him.
He needs it.
Hey, there are people waiting on.
Oh, really?
Or there's a chat, I'm not sure. One or the other.
I need to sign
Bye.
it now. It's just, that's it.
You know what, I'm not sure, would that be a pleasant?
Just
makes
makes-
sense.
I would just leave that at for now. But then all.
Okay, admit.
I messed with you.
We had forgot, yeah.
So I'll share this just for the agenda and then I'll take it down so we can do the people.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah, we have
I'll press escape to get out of the full screen because then this goes to the side. It's a lot easier to read.
Oh, okay.
Is that how she does it or does she go through?
She usually goes through the top.
Oh, okay.
There, so.
Then we can just get rid of that. Then
Okay.
you don't have to do.
What time is it?
It's 5.
Put down at Colorado, the EDU, I'm like, what EDU? I haven't had that email. What year?
Did you see it?
No, you did?
Yeah, but even.
Definitely doesn't.
I'll bring over.
No, okay, okay. We gonna go up there.
How do you see it?
He's an entrepreneur, he's always trying to. He's always, yeah, he's always looking.
Neither.
He's usually trying to, in my spot.
I'll make her. a copy.
Yeah. Just so they don't.
Just
That's what
make
we gotta
sure-
do.
Your call. Yeah. When did he finish? Again? No, he still probably got a semester.
Maybe we'll 1 more minute.
Yes, he's so focused on trying to start this business. Down do some real estate stuff. Well, you know, he looked at, I think, real estate.
I'm resting.
Okay.
We're getting ready to get started, I'll move that way.
Close.
He's studying.
I'm waiting for people to join us. I'm Catherine Archuleta, and I'm gonna be your facilitator. I know most of you here tonight, I facilitate all the CSC meetings and taking on a role of helping facilitate these meetings as the participant numbers grow. And it's helpful always to have a large group a facilitator just to make sure that the conversations flow as well as we would like them to. So we'll start out with Francisco.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Francisco Picado from Language Access LLC, and I'm part of your interpreting team tonight. For those of you who have not used this service before, please click on the globe on the bottom right of your screen and select the language of your choice. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Francisco Picado. Yo trabajo con Language Access LLC y soy parte del equipo de interpretación esta tarde. Para aquellos que no han usado el servicio antes, por favor, pulsen el globito en la parte inferior derecha de su pantalla y escogen el idioma de su preferencia. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Francisco. Well, welcome everybody to the task force meeting tonight on September 10th. We always like to go around the table so that we can all know both in the Zoom room and around the table who's in the meeting. So why don't we start over here?
Well, let's go by it. My name is Mitchell Lai Lewis, and I'm here with SHIC, which is short for Collaborative Healing Initiative within Community.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steve Nally. I'm the Chief Real Estate Officer at the National Western Center Authority.
Hi, Kristen Lane, the Program Manager for the Mayor's Office of the National Western Center, or we like to call it.
And Global.
And you're just gonna meet Catherine.
Maria Sriharia pronouns, owner and principal consultant of Upskilling You Consulting and Training.
Ralph Love Campbell, Programs Manager of a pre-apprenticeship program called ARP at the Second Chance Center in Aurora.
Good evening, my name is Derek Watson. I'm with this
Program.
Armando Payan, Global.
I'm Alexi Palazzari. I am the project and office coordinator with the authority.
I am Lori Larita. I do community engagement with National Western Center.
I'm Gina Griego, the Marketing Communications Coordinator with the National Western Center.
All right, I'm embracing that. I'm who new. We have Shannon.
Hey everyone, I'm Shannon Hoffman. I'm the project manager for the Globeville Area Swansea Community Investment Fund.
And Rebecca. Rebecca Trujillo. Okay, Christina.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Trujillo, a longtime Globeville resident and a part of Globeville First.
Thank you, Rebecca. Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm longtime Globeville resident as well as with Birdseed Collective and the Globeville Center.
Amanda.
I'm Amanda Morian. I'm a Globeville resident and I also help with the park people to make equitable tree access, stewardship, all of that stuff.
Thank you. Caroline.
Hi there, Caroline Acha. I'm a Globeville resident and community board member for the National Western Center.
Okay, and Sandra Ruiz Padilla is saying that she's gonna talk now, but she'll be there soon. She's on her way in, and we have a new person,
Jenna.
Jenna.
She's online, Jenna.
Jenna's
Jenna.
on.
Oh, okay.
Hi, everyone. Jenna Garcia, Marketing and Communications for the Authority.
And Maria.
Maria.
I'm Maria Cana, soy de la comunidad.
Thank you, Maria. I think I got everybody. Did I miss anyone?
Maria Gasa, I'm a member of the community.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we have a full agenda this afternoon. We're going to talk, getting an update from Steve on the sort of what, I'm sorry.
I can help you out here.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we did the intros. We have a slide about working together. I will provide a quick overview of kind of the schedule. A quick project overview. I'll put you the site plan so you understand the Equestrian Center, hotel, house, and parking garage project. We have several special guests with us, both online and in the room. We'll talk about construction jobs. We will also shift from construction jobs, hopefully around 6, to have the housing discussion. We have that many folks, the Mayor's Office of National Western Center. I believe we have someone from host here. Would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Maya Mitchell. I'm from the Department of Housing and Stability. You join me all day. Thank you.
And hopefully we are out of here by 7. There is food, so if you're hungry, please have at it.
Just get up and look at it. You're worried about it. Can we go to the next slide then? So one of the things that I find helpful is that we sort of set a parameter about how we conduct the meeting, and these are some values that are shared by the CAC, so I thought I'd bring them tonight. That respect and trust do matter, and openness and transparency is absolutely critical. So we encourage everyone to share, inspire, and be open to new ideas, because all of the voices around the table are important and matter. We also understand that there are many realities that each and every one of us face every day. And that we strive for partnership through collaboration and cooperation. So that will be sort of the values that we can work around as we meet tonight. So I think we'll start out with you, Steve.
Great. We need to make those Wi-Fi sites a little bigger. Okay, so I just wanted to walk folks through, very briefly, the site plan of the Equestrian Center project. The large building that you're seeing, well, let's back up. The red line, about 18 acres. It's along National Western Drive. So off the top of the map is the riverfront open space. Across the river is Globeville. You're seeing the 51st Avenue bridge up to the top right. Off to the bottom of the map is the main campus plaza. You're seeing a little bit of the new livestock center. You see the water tower off to the bottom. The large structure is really the Equestrian Center. It's made up of an arena. You can see the big oval, the floor there. Stables and warm-up paddocks. The stables will be flexible. So it's a pretty large facility. On the bottom right corner of the stables, that's the hotel site. To the left of the hotel is the landmarked Armor Administration Building that's out there today. It's a historic building. Up to the far right is the parking garage. We go to the top left, that's the housing site. You'll see a little bit more detail later in the evening of the footprint of the housing building. There's the loading area for the Equestrian Center, and then up on the street is a greenhouse and a community center. There's about 5 acres of open space and plaza mixed throughout, but that's the general overview of the project itself. Next slide is the proposed topics and schedule for the rest of the year. We started last month with construction jobs. We had HP Hensel Phelps, the contractor, present their kind of process. We had Derek here presenting the Denver Construction Careers Program, which is a requirement of the contractor to follow. There will be a workforce plan that we'll talk a little bit more about. So we had Derek here and we had others. Tonight we have more special guests, and so I will be turning it over to John if he has joined online to kind of tee up some of our special guests this evening. You'll see also on this schedule, we are starting the housing discussion, and we intend to continue that discussion into October. And then in November, we intend to talk about some of these other topics that you're seeing. So just wanted to keep that brief. John, do we have you on?
I don't think so.
Not yet, okay. So I will switch this up a little bit and give John a little bit more time for joining him, maybe having some difficulties. Derek was with us at the last meeting, and we sent out to the task force group Derek's we unfortunately during the meeting, but we did the jobs that were associated with the city funded project we on the street line. So I just wanted to open it up to this group and anyone online if there are any questions about that information that was sent out. And anything you'd like to add, Derek, about that information?
You know, there's really not a lot more to add at this point. I know we're starting to meet with the contractor to really start to develop the workforce plan. And once that plan has been created and approved, you guys will have a chance to review it and offer comments as well. So that's pretty much my update.
Any questions from folks about what you received from Derek?
And if you do have questions, feel free to email me. We'll follow up with you pretty promptly. So if you do have questions.
John was going to join, and John is with Hensel Phelps, he's the contractor on the job. John invited Second Chance Center and CHEEK, or the Collaborative Healing Initiative within Communities, groups as two examples of service providers that are out there to help connect folks with jobs. These are these folks will be able to present to you and describe kind of their services, and we wanted to make sure you're aware of these and aware that there are other programs out there to try to make these connections for folks. So I had first the Second Chance Center on the agenda. If you want to tell us about the organization and take it from there.
Thank you. I'm not, if you guys want us to stand up, are we okay sitting down?
You're okay sitting down?
Okay, so I'm Ralph Sample. As I said in my introduction, my counterpart is at the end of the table. He was a little bit late, so I let him introduce himself.
I'm Michael Roberson. I'm the dedicated care manager for the pre-apprenticeship programs at the Second Chance Center.
What we have on the table today for you guys is a presentation about our apprenticeship readiness program, which is a 12-week comprehensive program that takes place on Saturdays from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. First and foremost, we are the premier reentry specialist in the metro area. So the services that we provide are wraparound services for individuals who might have found themselves in a troubled position, who might have found themselves in a challenging position. The demographic that we primarily serve are justice involved individuals who are coming out of probation, parole, so county jails or prisons. And their pathway typically takes them down a construction pathway because that's, kind of how the gist of things work. But our program is designed as a pre-apprenticeship. How many of you guys know the difference between a pre-apprenticeship and an active registered apprenticeship? One hand to a good group of people, because this is all new information to you guys. So what we offer here is basically in easier terms, the baby steps, the introduction. What is a tape measure? What does a job site look like? What is involved with construction? How do you get involved in construction? What does it look like, sound like, feel like? Who are the players involved? How many actual facets, multiple facets are involved in construction that a lot of people don't realize? When I bring up the question, what does a construction worker mean to you? Or what does it mean when I say construction worker? Most people have an immediate bias. They have a picture formed, right? Like a 200-300 pound man smoking cigarettes, rough around the edges and smelly. And they're like, that ain't for me. And it's like, that is far from the truth as it can be. So with that being said, our individuals that we get involved in our cohorts, we run about 4 cohorts a year. We are about to be on cohort 16. So with that being said, we kind of know what we're doing. Second Chance's ARP is different from most other programs because we are strictly an in-person program. There's a lot of programs that are hybrid. They like to offer hybrid options for people that have that schedule concern, but we offer in-person training with lived experience. I myself have 5.5 years in the construction industry with Local 9 Sheet Metal Workers International Association. I went through a 4-year apprenticeship, but in 3 years, ladies and gentlemen, I was a foreman. So I have 13.5 years in DOC background. I have 2 felonies. And since I've been released from incarceration in December of 2017, I'm not even gonna put numbers. I made a lot of money. It's not about the money, but it's about the opportunity and role modeling the possibilities of what is out there and what's available. It's just a matter of giving them a footprint, giving them a blueprint, giving them that platform and an opportunity and that chance to be seen, heard, and utilized as a workforce. So I will let Michael explain a little more if he wants.
As the dedicated care manager for the pre-apprenticeship program, I have a unique experience, experience with the client partners. I also, like Ralph, am a client partner and a project of the Second Chance Center. They help me with everything, getting to where I'm at now. I'm a member of the IBW Local Union 111. I'm an operator by trade, but I've been in the streetlight apprenticeship, the lineman apprenticeship, and the traffic apprenticeship. So I have a vast experience of helping client partners from the lived experience walk the steps to get into these unions. And also I have another lived experience as understanding what it takes to dedicate yourself to a 4 or 5 year commitment to get into the trades and obtain a journeyman or journeywoman's ticket. And that's the gist of it, I think.
So on this slide, you'll see what we call wraparound services. So one thing that we specialize in as a reentry provider in the metro area is just that, full wraparound services. So when we say that, what does that mean to some of you individuals? Does it make sense? Does it resonate? Are you still like, what is an actual wraparound service? With that being said, wraparound services look like this. An individual comes home and he is full of anxiety. He is full of question marks. He is full of possible depression. There's a lot of emotions going on, but at the same time, he's full of frustration because the system itself, when you come home, uses different language that's not really conducive to, you know, a beautiful experience coming home. It's you will do this, you have to do that. If you don't do this, you're gonna get that. And the language is kind of harsh on an individual's reentry. Second Chance provides wraparound services to say, welcome home. Welcome home, good job. Because first and foremost, what it took to get home and reintegrated back into society is a lot of work. It's a parole plan, it's intention, it's good behavior, it's positive behavior, and then it leads to your parole or your release. And then once you get released, then it's a matter of following the guidelines. So we provide full wraparound services in the sense that we have a full behavioral health team on staff, licensed clinicians, doctorates, licensed clinicians that are able to meet the client's needs where they're at, because it's more than just saying, you're a number and you have to fall into the system and get with the program. It's what do you actually need right now? Do you need a moment? Do you need a bottle of water? Do you need breakfast? Would you like lunch? Would you like to take a second to reacclimate to society? Would you like some better clothes? Because it can still be release clothes. At the same time, we have a full and functional EOL. It's an employment opportunity lab, 14 computer systems set up where they can get on there and do resume building skills. And it's not just a matter of introducing them to the computer and say, sit down, start typing away and figure it out. We sit with them step by step. They need a break because they're getting overwhelmed by technology, and technology is a lot at that time. When you first come home, take a break, go outside, get something to eat or drink. And we have a full center up in Aurora where they're more than welcome to be in there in a positive space. Nobody's going to force anything on them. It is strictly a client partnership, and we use client partners as far as the terminology is concerned, because it is literally the work they put in as a client partner is the work that we're going to put in as a provider. How many of you guys know what WAGES is? WAGEES. Show of hands. Oh, one person again.
Show off.
So the state of Colorado, work and gain employment, education, what is the S?
Excuse me?
Wages.
Oh, work and gain, employment, education, and stability.
Stability. So what this is they used to release people from incarceration and say, here's $100, you go be successful. Go figure it out. Who knows what that $100 could be spent on? Who knows what that $100 could be utilized for? Some people we were targeted because they knew, hey, this guy just got out, he's got $100 on him. And they found that that's not a very good program. It's not very successful. What they did was take that $100 back and say, listen, now we have wages. This is a giant fund, a giant pool of money, not the hugest fund. But what it is a person gets out and their parole officer, their probation officer says, look, you have a chance to connect with the WAGES partner in the metro area. If you connect with this WAGES partner, they can support you in reentry. So it's now on that individual to connect with the WAGES partner and start their reentry in a positive manner. We are one of 7 WAGES partners in the metro area. So with that being said, work boots, work clothes, bus passes, gas cards, all these things are at the client partner's fingertips if they so desire and they put in the work to get it. So Michael is the dedicated care manager. He works with them step by step, because a lot of these individuals, unfortunately, what we see come out of incarceration and they're going against Colorado reviewed statutes, in the sense that Colorado says you will not be paroled homeless. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They get paroled homeless. And they don't have ID, social security card, birth certificate. So Michael helps them get that. And then we get them in front of, after our 12-week program, we get them in front of a state registered apprenticeship. You can go to the last slide, please. And why do these apprenticeship programs benefit you? These pre-apprenticeship programs benefit you? First and foremost, you don't want somebody coming into the workforce with absolutely no experience. I mean, sometimes that can be a good thing, but most of the time it's a treacherous, I forgot the word. Treacherous journey for that individual to trial by fire, throw them in the mix, and next thing you know, they're sinking. We introduce them to those baby steps and say, hey, listen, it's going to take some time. You're going to have to go through the muck and the mire of that first year apprentice who has to do all the hard work, and then you get to choose your career path. So these pre-apprenticeship programs that we offer assist with employment retention. Because that person has that baby steps beginning, and then they get into a registered apprenticeship, and then they become a journey person, and now they're a skilled labor worker. And they're also from a certain demographic that helps to fulfill Denver City ordinance. So I mean, if there's an ordinance in place and they say we need these kind of workers, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have the workers. I have 18 individuals in my cohort right now that are signed up to start on the 20th. I'm looking for 20 to 25. My last cohort was only 7. We graduated 5, placed all 5 into the IBEW, 4 into the IBEW 111, 1 into the local 9 heavy operators equipment. So I have really strong relationships with most local unions in the area. I meet with them face to face, one-on-one, shake their hands, and when I send somebody their way, they know that's a good applicant, a strong applicant, and they accept them right into the registered apprenticeship. I got in my history since cohort 13, we got about, I don't know how many in local 9.
What, close to 20 something, I believe.
People into local 9 sheet metal workers. A first year apprentice in the metro area starts off making $23 to $25 an hour. And that's take home to pay their bills and keep their lights on and feed their family and take care of their relatives. So this is the opportunity that we offer being a pre-apprenticeship. And like I said, that there, we're connected to 15 local unions in the metro area. And those unions are typically connected to 65 signature contractors. So that's a lot of opportunity for somebody to get put to work. So we're hoping to be connected to this project. Yes.
What kind of retention rate? I mean, how many people enter and how many people actually get to an apprenticeship program?
So we graduated 5, we placed all 5. That's 100%. But we went over quality over quantity this last cohort. Before that, we had 18.
Yes.
And attrition is just part of life. Attrition happens with any program that you have in place. And we settled for, we don't like to settle, but we settle for about 20% attrition rates. So, you know, some stuff's gonna happen. People are gonna, you know, lose hope and go back, but we're able to maintain those rates pretty good. Yes.
And the one thing that I would like to emphasize on that point is that we also offer a whole life skills, thought process course. We have 7 habits of highly effective people that I integrate into our, trade futures class as well. So we don't just stop with the client partner once they get into the union. We work with them continuously on life skills. We work with them continuously on sobriety, and we work with them continuously on mental health. And all of those are very big factors in the construction industry, and we pride ourselves on making sure that we're riding with our, that we're supporting our students all the way through.
Yeah, you might be asking too, what are they gonna come out the other end with? They're gonna come out with OSHA 10, first aid, CPR. Sometimes they get an industrial athlete certificate based on the funding, if we can afford that. They come out with green construction. How many of you guys know that green construction is starting to take place and starting to take off? So we give them a G Pro certificate, and that is 8 hours minimum of facilitation and hands-on learning with the G Pro certificate. But our online learning management system is gonna be Trades Futures, which is recognized. I don't know, it's easy, just everywhere. I mean, it's hard to put a number on it. South Africa, Europe, Canada, Mexico, South America. So we're involved in an ARP program that's connected with Trades Futures all over the world. I get into monthly meetings with the ARP groups of Trades Futures, and I'm in a breakout room with somebody from Greece. I'm in a breakout room with somebody from South Africa, Chicago, and then I gotta let them know, I'm just over here in Colorado, but we're part of a bigger picture. Have that certificate to carry it with them wherever they want, and it's South, ladies and gentlemen, that inspires hope in these individuals. So I grew up in a little bitty neighborhood, not too far from here, called the East Village Housing Projects. And that's where I grew up, and that's where I started my journey, unfortunately in a negative sense, but I remember growing up in the East Villages and learning about Curtis Park and learning about Swansea and Malaria and Globeville, and you know, they're neighbors to the East Village Project. So this neighborhood is really important, and it's really crucial to make sure that we support the demographic that we serve here, get them involved in these careers so that way they can give back to the community, build the community, and enrich it.
You may have mentioned this, but how long did you say this pre-apprenticeship program typically takes?
It's 12 consecutive weeks on a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. And what that does is allow an individual in our program to work Monday through Friday, so they can have a steady income. And this is a stipend program, so they're gonna earn about $119, $120 per Saturday that they attend. And then, like I said, they're gonna have a $50 gift gas card if they're driving themselves. They're gonna have a monthly bus pass guaranteed if they're taking public transportation. We provide all of the PPE, the tools, and live the experience. Our instructors right there in that picture, that's Dolores Bledsoe with local national. She's contracted with a chance to teach individuals hands-on. And when they ask over and over, because they do ask, well, how do you guys say all these fancy words, the jargon, but how do you actually know? And then we share our experience. Like, been where you're at, Michael's been where you're at, Dolores been where you're at, Trevor's been where you're at. 4 individuals who are highly successful have been where you're at, and you can do it. That's our program in a nutshell. Michael, you have anything to add?
Just, yeah, the other thing that I want to add as well is that with this program that we have, the MC3 Trade Futures, for 1 year after they complete the program, we track them, work with them extensively for a week, for monthly checkups, follow-ups. But before they even get into the program, we're already making contact with them. We're already getting basic essential documents like birth certificates, social security cards, IDs, driver license, driving records, everything that you could think of that is going to help our client partners succeed in the construction industry. We're on it right away from jump as we get with them.
And that comes from lived in those interviews. Being interviewed by 6 to 8 individuals, registered apprenticeship is pretty intimidating. And right in that application process, they're gonna ask you for all those crucial documents, because if you don't have one of them, your application is not gonna go forward. So we get them ready in our pre-apprenticeship, before cert apprenticeship. And so one less barrier enough to maintain a person's success. And that's what we tell them is, if you want to go in there, because I don't know how many people in this room grew up the way I grew up, but when I got sick or I got injured, how many of you guys were in trouble? When I got sick or injured as a kid, my auntie and my uncle were like, a hospital bill? Boy, you gotta go to the hospital? But now, with the union jobs, those benefits cover them and their loved ones and their significant others, and it's no hesitation. It is literally $20, $30 copay, but take care of your loved ones. And that's something that we can reassure these client partners get, and they love that. They're like, now I can take care of my mom, my dad, my brothers and my sisters, and it feels good to be able to give back now. Yes.
Just two comments. One, is there a process for people who are undocumented? You help them go through the process of acquiring an ITIN number. And the second thing, is there a youth component, youth being identified as 16, 17, 18 years old in your program?
So unidentified, undocumented, we would refer them to Colorado Buildings, Construction, Trades, Careers. That's the Jason Wardrip, Dolores Bledsoe in the picture. They have a program from immigrant workers and undocumented workers to start that process and get them same program, same MC3, same hands-on component, but they work more with that population. As far as the youth is concerned, we are only allowed to serve 18 and above because we serve all. So there are certain charges where 18 and below are local. As individuals, we know what it takes in order to make parole, have houses, case managers, and these guys to make sure graduate December 6th, and then we'll start recruitment for the next program. December, all of December will be recruitment. January, we'll start accepting people with applications, and then we'll start the next program around January or February. And then another 12 weeks kicks off.
So is this program gonna be part of the Equestrian Center or?
We hope.
Or you don't know yet?
Can I just comment on that?
Yes.
One of the requirements is for the general contractor to work with our pre-approved apprenticeship programs, and Second Chance is one of those, as well as Chic. And the importance of that is when they hire individuals from these programs, they get additional credit towards achieving the workforce requirements. And so these two programs have been what I would say is really fundamental to the work that we're doing. And so, yeah, we definitely work with both of these organizations and would anticipate that Hansel Phelps will do the same.
So these programs will focus on our communities in the 80216.
Yeah.
And another question. So if you guys gonna be like working in these three communities, is there gonna be a location here in this community? Or do the community has to go wherever your location is? And I ask this because a lot of people here in our community, they don't drive. Or they don't have a car or whatever, so that is, and also the RTD is hard to get anywhere, the RTD is really hard. So are you guys, if you guys are gonna be part of these big projects, are you guys gonna have like a location where people can go and do all the apprenticeship and everything, or they have to go where you are, right?
The Second Chance Center has 5 locations.
Yes.
And one of them is the city.
Yeah, we have 5 locations. We have Second Chance Center in the city, which is located off of 14th and Delaware, right across from the Lindsey Flanagan Courthouse. We have the Second Chance Center in Aurora. We have Path in Aurora, which is a housing development, and we are getting ready to open up another housing development off of 1501 South Tacoma Street. Also, we have various people in our organization that do outreach and go to different organizations and work with other organizations as well. That's part of our community building response team. And a lot of the people that come to the Second Chance Center in Aurora, where me and Ralph are located at, the vast majority of them live in these communities. So public transportation is something that we assist them with to get to us, because we understand the demographic of not having a vehicle, coming home fresh from, different situations. And we also are located at the Sheet Metal Union off of I-70 in Pecos. That's where we actually hold the apprenticeship readiness class at. So we're very accessible around for people to get to us, and we're working on expanding on that as well.
Thank you.
That's great.
Are there other questions?
Yeah, you should yell at sleep. Whatever you. What's about sheep?
Word, I love it. Would you mind reintroducing yourself for people who came in?
Oh, yeah, it'll all go this way. Oh, my. Yes, yes. So I am Miss Shalay Lewis, and I'll go into that a little bit further. But yes, this presentation, is about our Women at Work program. There is just a photo of our last cohort, I believe. All right, thank you. Next slide, please. So Chic, that is short for Collaborative Healing Initiative within community. Our mission is, yes, very direct. We're here to build women's economic, social, and cultural capital. Right? When women thrive, families and communities thrive. It's been proven time and time again. So what you'll see today isn't just a program, it is definitely a movement. All right, next slide, please. All right, so underneath the Chic umbrella, there are several programs. So these are just 2 of them that I would love to share with you. So we have our education program, as you see right there. That's culturally rooted support for academic and emotional success. Emotional success. That focuses on students from elementaries all the way through high school. We work with parents and educators to transform school systems, And know when we're in these schools, we're not just building students' grades, we're also building their confidence and identity. And then we also have our R3, which is our reentry program, and that's designed for healing and stability during reentry. It creates a safe network for young women to rebuild and thrive. We also have a wraparound approach like we do with all of our programs. With this one, we want to focus on mental health, self-esteem, and family support. And again, R3 is not just about reentry, it's about having the young women rewrite their story. Next slide, please. Thank you, thank you. So workforce development, and that's what part of the program I'm with. And that means more than jobs, right? It's about career readiness, emotional intelligence, confidence, and community. Denver's construction industry is booming. There's billions in projects. So women must be at these tables. And she creates that space where women can step into the earn while you learn opportunities, without accruing any debt. Next slide, please. So why do these pre-apprenticeships matter? Into our workforce service. So just some key program highlights that I want to highlight. Like Second Chance, the participants do receive their OSHA 10 card as well. We do job readiness, we do coaching, supportive services. Sisterhood is key when we are building these cohorts out. And it's not a one and done training, right? It's a holistic approach that she likes to take. So removing those barriers, opening doors, and building confidence all along. Next slide. Oh, I moved online. There we go. A little time to catch up. So who do we serve? So women is our focus, especially women of color, ready to break barriers in male-dominated industry. Within Chic, we make sure that we create that safe space. It's very empowering. We offer wellness, healing, as well as personal development. With 20 cohorts behind us, actually now it's 22, we have a proven track record. Graduates are now thriving in those trades such as sheet metal, electrical, and many, many more. We're not just training workers, we're definitely shifting to see, to make sure that the women are getting represented and making sure that they are being seen in the trade. All right, so our impact, right? So next month, we are starting our 23rd cohort. As of today, we've served around 150 women. Every participant that we have served represents resiliency, growth, as well as transformation. And that number keeps growing, right? We just opened up intakes for the cohort starting next month. And I've actually had to open up additional slots because they were all filled within 48 hours. And this is just measurable proof that equity strategies most definitely work. All right, so our impact. So here is Kai. She's one of our graduates. She is now a second-year sheet metal apprentice. Some of the words that Kai used, which she actually comes back and speaks to the apprentice when she has time. She is very specific when she says she changed her life. We actually met Kai at a rehab center, and she had no idea that this was even an option because she has a violent felony, and she was like, I'm pretty much gonna work fast food for the rest of my life. So we were able to work with an apprenticeship who not only got Kai her diploma, but helped her get her license. Again, just, telling her story from receiving a toolkit to meeting Tony, who was working at the sheet metal union, to helping her with her employment paperwork. And now Kai has an actual career, not just a job. So yeah, from sheet to sheet metal, she has found her path. And she is dope. So hopefully she has the capacity to come speak to the women next month when the cohort starts, because when they see, another woman in this field, they're like, oh, it gets a little bit harder. And of course, there's a whole administrative side as well that we're able to talk about, because a lot of times the people here in construction, They're like tools and heat or snow, you know, which is a huge part, but there's also a whole administrative part as well. So with the pre-apprenticeship, the big thing is exposure, and I feel that we did that with Kai. I know we did that with Kai. So, yes, yes, yes. All right, so our impact, right? The GES community deserves these opportunities too. They've been where it matters most. And again, this is not just about a job. We are very much setting people up to put them in positions of generational wealth, stronger families, and systematic transformation. And again, when women in GES rise, again, it trickles down to the community, and the whole community will definitely rise right along with them. Next, please. Again, so this is our pre-apprenticeship, construction cohort. The last one for the year is starting on October 6th. I have already opened up, the intakes for that. This is the last chance just through Chic for women to step into this program. So if you yourself, if you have anyone that you think may be interested, please tell them to reach out to me. I have my contact information as well as flyers. Basically 12 days, your tools in hand, your future is in motion. This is nice. I haven't seen it this big.
Will you move the microphone closer, just, it was a little bit of a hard time hearing. Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so yes, next slide, please. So this is, kind of what a day in our ESPA looks like. We focus on 3 topics. We have essential self, construction essentials, as well as essential employability. So with essential self, that's, well, Chic, I should say, is real big as an organization on wellness and mindfulness. So that's incorporated into everything that we do. So that might look like some journaling. Fitness, as you see up here, they were doing a hip hop aerobics class. We do financial literacy. And then with the construction essentials, again, they get their OSHA 10 cards, introduction into the trades. We have site visits. We have facilitators who come in and speak about their journey within Chic. And then essential employability, right? So we do resume building. We do mock interviews, huge on networking. And once that 12th day is over, we definitely celebrate our women by having a graduation ceremony that ties specifically into their 30, 60, or 90-day career plan. All right, next please. So how can y'all support me? Because we cannot do this without our community. I'm sorry, nope, I spoke too soon. I do need y'all help, but this is actually for our participants. So we do career coaching and guidance. Again, it's not just training, but we have someone walking with you with those wraparound services. And we do offer stipends as well, right? That's one way we can reduce financial stress so that these women can focus fully on their growth and development pathway. And then whole women's success, right? Because again, by centering cultural identity, healing, and confidence, it just sets the woman up for, again, whole woman wellness equals whole woman success. And we don't look at this support as extra. I mean, it's definitely essential. We don't want someone to have to decide between coming through our pre-apprenticeship and like working. So again, we're able to pay our participants once they complete the program a stipend, as well as offering these wraparound supportive services. There it goes. I need y'all help. So, you know, if you are a resident, you know, apply, or if you know a woman in this, in your area, a neighbor, a sister, cousin, daughter, you know, definitely tell them about this great opportunity. And to my community partners, right? Just want to collaborate even more and talk about ways that we can make 2026 even better than this year. So send any referrals that you have my way. My contact information is on the screen. Again, missionway@chicdenver.org. I also can send an electronic file of the cohort, and I have actual flyers if anybody would like to take them as well. And then that last slide, please. So in closing, right, from training to transformation, building legacies that last. Together, we are reshaping the trades, one woman, one cohort, one community at a time, and just making sure they're getting in and all this Denver money that's available to be made.
Yes.
How do you identify resident, city, and county Denver, resident, state of Colorado?
I mean, whoever wants to come to the program, they can. They just have to be a resident of Colorado. Our focus is the Denver metro area. We are located not too far from here off of Colfax and Josephine, and have you just bought, not yet, bought our building though, right across the street from Harlan Madison and High School. So they would come here. So are you saying, is that how are we recruiting, or is that?
No, just how do you identify resident, because,
Oh, how do we identify them?
well, no, just resident to me can, is a person who occupies, could be apartment, condo, mobile home, but a dwelling, that to me is a resident.
Yeah, I mean,
Regardless of citizenship and all that other stuff.
yeah, no, resident is someone that's living in Colorado.
Okay.
That's how we look at
Okay.
it. So,
Second-
yeah.
And then the second thing is there a youth component to your program?
Not for this one. We do have a youth component. We work with a couple of high schools, so specifically Blue Legacy Charter, which is in Aurora, and then also we're building a partnership with Rise Up. So we have specific cohorts, but we focus on like juniors to seniors. But I would say 90% of our program is 18 and older. If you're 17, you have already had to graduate or get your GED, because we're not letting you choose this over school. You have to complete school in order to.
Thank you.
Yes.
Other questions? So do you help women find a job also after they're done with the whole program?
Right, so yeah, we offer wraparound supportive services, and that's one of them. And each path looks different, right? Some people get through this program and like, nope, construction is not for me. Thank you for letting me see this, but no. Some people are like, yes, tell me more. So sometimes it may look for them to go to another training program. Kai was ready to jump right into sheet metal after she visited, that I heard about the benefits and whatnot. So yes, we do help women get employment.
And once they're like in construction, and I don't know if that goes for everyone, like, we know that women don't get those management jobs much. We know like 23% of women still get those management jobs in the industry. It doesn't matter what, if it's construction, if it's radio, TV, it doesn't matter, it's still women have that really low percentage. How you guys manage that part? And I'm not saying that you guys have to do everything, but is there a way that you can train women also for those kind of jobs? It's not like this construction jobs, but also like training in management and administrative, that's like most jobs.
So we don't specifically like train, so ours is a pre-apprenticeship, it doesn't focus on one specific trade, more it's like an overview of what's being offered in the area. So like this 23rd cohort, it probably doesn't even look like the 22nd cohort. A lot of it may be like the availability of the presenters, weather, have they broke ground yet, right? But we definitely give them those pathways. So some people are like, I want to do, say you want to do business construction. Okay, let's find some certifications or get you into a school that focuses just on that. So yes, we do offer that, but no, we do not have like the answer to all of, you know what I'm saying? So that was we carved this out specifically for women because we know that there's a need for them to do construction and they weren't always represented. Still, they may not be. They were definitely still underrepresented. So.
Sandra, is that your name?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Sandra, I think that falls a lot on the employer and training and development that organization will offer for upskilling of those employees, if that makes sense. So leadership management, like their philosophy on DEI, like what kind of accommodations are they providing for women, for instance, when they're on their period, right? And you're in the construction, like all those things lie in the hands of the employer. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I asked that because most of the programs, we see mostly men. And we want to see more women also doing those kind of jobs. It doesn't matter.
And so do we.
And
You
we
know,
wanna see more women.
I can tell you one of the things that we would like to develop is an all-female apprenticeship cohort. And so we're working toward addressing some of the stuff that you're talking about and some of the things that you talk about. Because construction, folks, this is a different animal. It is a whole different world and trying to break through some of those barriers, not only for women, but for people of color, can be a challenge. and we recognize that, but we want to equip folks to be able to go into that environment and be able to be successful. And some of that is some of the things I know you guys talked about, some of the things I know you guys do. So we're doing our best to prepare them, but it ain't nothing like what happens on the site.
Yeah, it's kind of hard in this community also. We see a lot of women, what's it say, in their homes, not working. And we really want to see more women working and youth. And I say youth also because we see they graduate here in our communities and they don't have any more opportunities. So that's why now the Equestrian Center, and I want to focus on the new developments that we're gonna have here. We want to see those opportunities also for youth and women more, because that's, I mean, even if there's workforce and there's this and there's that, we don't see much opportunities for youth and women. Very easy.
Is it okay if I say something?
Yes, please.
So I can offer a small reassurance with the platform that we use and with most pre-apprenticeships. There's a certain level of reassurance that I can offer my participants, and then we got 3 women in my cohort this time, and one of them does want to be leadership, and she asked me how to get there. The reassurance that I offered her is if you apply every single ounce of that knowledge that they give you in a state recognized registered apprenticeship, you will be leadership. They give you literally a book like this big, and it's years of codes and everything involved in the construction industry. And if you soak up that knowledge and you step onto a job site as a 2nd or 3rd year apprentice, and I can tell you there's a 6-inch screw spread on most of this stuff, like just certain codes that are involved with fire, life, safety. And the apprenticeship offers all this information to an individual while they're in it. So I reassure them in class, if you soak up this knowledge that they give you for free, when you step on a job site and you use it in the face of the contractor, I'm like, you are really smart. You deserve to be in leadership. So that reassurance to my participants enables them to be like, or empowers them to be like, wow, I can really do it. It's just a matter of stepping out of their comfort zone, because I can reassure you in the industry also from lived experience. Giant projects, I was on the Tower 3 project in Aurora for the hospital and UC Health. They hired Troutman and Shreve as the contractor, and Troutman and Shreve was there for almost 2.5 years. I was an apprentice on that job, and every 6 months they would come on that job and literally sit the crew down, say this is the crew of people on the job site, and say, who is interested in being supervision? Show of hands. And you have the opportunity as an apprentice to raise your hand. I want to be a foreman. And they're like, really? Because you'd be surprised in the industry right now, how many people will not raise their hand. They're happy with 40 hours a week. They're happy with their benefits. Leave me alone. I've been in the trade for 18 to 20 years. I don't want to be a foreman. But if that apprentice who is a woman and a person of color says, I want to be a foreman, start training me. That contractor, especially from my lived experience, will be like, all right, let's give him a shot. Let's put him in a foreman class. Let's put him in a supervision class. Local 9 Sheet Metal Workers International Association has an elite program specifically designed for candidates who want to be in leadership. So you go into that program, you are automatically at the forefront of foreman supervision training. So registered apprenticeships have these opportunities. It's just a matter of getting a person into a registered apprenticeship and then empowering them to take that uncomfortable step into saying, yeah, I want to be a boss. Please try to make that happen. So most individuals are hesitant to make that first step.
One reason I can tell you why she went into, we open up several pathways. We also have entrepreneurship and looking into healthcare. But construction was chosen, one, because if you have a justice involved background, you're not automatically zeroed out of that opportunity. And then one, construction is one of the industries where you get paid for the work that you do. I mean, on average, living in the US, earn like 81 cents to the dollar on what white men make doing the same exact job, which makes no sense whatsoever. When you go into an apprenticeship, it goes off of your hours that you're putting in. 1st year apprenticeship, 2nd year apprenticeship. It doesn't matter if you are a purple people eater. You are gonna get the same money that this man is getting also, if you're putting in the same amount of work, so.
One last comment, and then we have some comments up in the chat room too.
And just as an added layer of support as well, with me and Ralph being members of different local unions, we're still active with our local unions. So in the IBW, for instance, we have the Women of the Trades Committee. And so they have different events that I'm able to help our client partners go to on their own time and get an experience of what they're doing, the people that they'll be working with, and get more education on the trades and getting into the trades.
Thank you. I'm gonna turn to Jonathan now. Jonathan, I think you can help us with some of the questions in the chat, but also give a sort of a broader context for the presentations tonight.
Yeah, no problem. You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I mean, you know, these two programs are great programs that we've partnered with in the past and really help us develop our workforce plan. You know, from Hensel Phelps's perspective, you know, everything that you're talking about are things that are going to be implemented in our workforce plan to really try to engage those new people that want to get into the construction industry, right? Whether you want to be, or with Hensel Phelps, maybe it's a carpenter, maybe it's a laborer, also engaging, right, with our electrical or mechanical contractors that might want to be electricians or want to do low voltage or any of those type of services that we're going to be performing on the Equestrian Center. And that type of engagement and working with these two great organizations is, you know, part of our workforce development plan that we've already presented to Derek. And we've successfully worked with Derek on. You know, we've all mentioned the Colorado Convention Center. I was the project manager on that. That was kind of the initial pilot program, but we're carrying a lot of the things that we learned from that, you know, onto the National Western Center project to make sure that it's a successful project and provides those opportunities. You know, we talked about, I think I saw in the chat, right, are these construction programs going to be doing that? You're exactly right. So those, you know, those are part of our programs and part of our plan is to implement that, you know, in this community. Derek, I don't know if you wanted to chime in, but that's, you know, our partnership that we had was a really great partnership that, you know, that we're going to carry on to this project.
I'm sorry, I had stepped out of the room.
No, that's okay.
But I think I heard the gist of what you're saying. And yeah, we're going to continue to work with the partners. We are funded partners of both of these organizations. And so we're very committed. When he says they've done 16 cohorts, we've helped support 15 of them. When Sheik says they've done 23 cohorts, we've been there just about at every one of them. So you're right. We are going to continue to work with the partners that we have great relationships with, and these are two of the very best.
I'm gonna turn to Amanda and then to Angela.
Thank you. I have a question that may have been kind of touched on already. I'm not sure, but these are really great sounding programs. They sound wonderful. But how do you guys plan to actually execute really reaching out to the community to get 80216 residents involved? Like, are you going to be canvassing, going door to door? How are you going to raise that awareness?
So go ahead.
We do recruitment events all the time. So one, I mean, we're always trying to get people to follow us on social media, right? That's the way of the world. So a lot of our recruitment events are posted on there. Right now, we don't have the capacity to go canvassing door to door with a pre-apprenticeship being almost less than a month away now. So really just going to like those community centers, leaving flyers. Hopefully, the expectation would be for them job seekers to also be seeking out jobs, right? So for them to look at like workforce development within, like, I know Denver. It's like the Denver County, City of Denver and County has a weekly newsletter that goes out. I know Sheik is listed in there. So I would just say, I feel like as long as they're doing their due diligence, people meet them halfway.
I think that sounds really wonderful. I think that partnering with the RNOs in the neighborhood, you know, like Birdseed and those guys, and even Spur, that's really essential because a lot of the residents here don't follow stuff on social media, and the target audience at some of those kind of city meeting or city job fairs don't necessarily target this neighborhood. So people in this neighborhood don't really always know this has never happened in this neighborhood before. So they're not going to know to look in their neighborhood for job fairs like this. So making those partnerships is probably the most essential piece, but hopefully I'm not speaking out of line for everyone else who can actually speak up in this meeting tonight. And thank you for that.
Jonathan?
And I think Amanda too, another point to make is like it's going to be continuous, right, throughout the life cycle of the job. At the beginnings, it's going to be, you know, heavy earthwork, utilities. We're going to be looking for workforce there along with small business opportunities as well. But then once we get into the build, it could be trades for, again, like the electricians, low voltage, mechanical, right? And we'll post those job opportunities with the trade partners that we've partnered with to make sure that it's a continuous process through the job and not just kind of a one-time.
Ralph, did you want me to come?
Yeah, kind of fortuitous, I guess you say. I'm connected to Grupo Tlaloc, who does their regular practices at Globeville Rec Center, Danzante. So most of my youth that I'm connected to and most of the community members that I'm connected to is right here in Globeville, so I can do my due diligence, tap base with them and touch them with them and say, hey man, there's a big project coming up along the horizon. And if you guys are looking for those opportunities, here's a flyer for my program, get into my program, and then we can plug you into the city and county of Denver, connect you to the Equestrian Center, and we can make that pipeline happen. So there's a very real possibility because I know they have food programs at Birdseed Collective. It's a phenomenal program.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're welcome to come over to the Birdseed Collective and to the food program, because we serve 100 boxes per Monday. We also do hot food on Tuesdays and grocery bring on Wednesday. So that brings in a large population of people from the Globeville Center. And you're welcome to flyer there. You're welcome to, if you're doing some sort of recruiting or anything, you're welcome to come and talk to the people that we have there.
Thank you.
Angela?
Yes, thank you, Catherine. So Amanda asked part of my question, one of my questions. So thank you, Amanda. And then this gentleman here, thank you so much for mentioning Birdseed. I volunteer on Mondays, and the amount of work they do is absolutely amazing. I also want to encourage you to reach out to Prodigy for Youth and also to the schools for the parent groups to talk to them to make sure that they are aware of new jobs that are coming up. And Derek, I think your name is, I was the one who challenged you last month to say, you need to prove to me that you are going to serve my community, because we've been lied to by the city, the state, and the feds for generations. And now, because you have the Second Chance Center, I have to throw some respect your way, because I know Hassan Latif, who started the Second Chance Center, and his wife, Imani Latif, who started It Takes a Village in Aurora. Two amazing people who started two amazing organizations that have transformed many, many lives over at least 30 years that I've known them. And so I feel better about this. Thank you.
Well, thank you. But this is something we have to earn. And we'll continue to work towards earning our way in this community, because I know exactly what you're saying. And so I'm very committed. My team is committed. And I know the staff that I work with at the city and county are committed to this community too. So we'll continue to make good on this.
Angela, just let me add a testimonial to your question here. You know, I had a wonderful opportunity, as I mentioned before in the previous meeting, working with Derek at the University of Colorado at Boulder. In that process, I was fortunate enough to have Derek serve as a mentor for my two daughters that went to the University of Colorado. One of them just received, last year she received the International Right of Way Award, which is a nationwide award endorsed by the Federal Highway Administration. She did go to law school. She worked with Derek. My other daughter, she did go to the University of Colorado. She did do an internship with Derek. He mentored both of them. She works for Google now in their international security, IT security team. So what I'm saying here is that Derek goes beyond being an administrator. He can also mentors, and that relationship, not relationship, but those feelings, those motivations, those encouragement, that school of thought process carries over into his philosophy of executing, implementing, directing programs. I just want to leave it at that. You guys can judge for yourself as we move forward here.
Thank you, Amanda. So I think we're ready to transition to our next agenda item.
I was just gonna add that we will send out these two presentations to the group. If you're not on the distribution list, if you're not receiving task force emails, please send please sign in with your email and we'll be sure to include you on that distribution. Yeah, it's over here.
There is a sign-in sheet for
Yeah.
as well, and we have the names of everyone who are in the Zoom room, so that's great. So, now we're gonna transition and talk a little bit more about housing. You took up that conversation last.
Nope,
No?
it's the first.
Oh, it's the first, okay, I'm glad to be here then. All right, so we'll start, on the housing, topic, and, please, Mike.
Great.
This way.
Thank you so much. And so, again, I'm Mike Bouchard. I am the executive director of the mayor's office of the National Western Center. And in partnership with the authority, we are responsible for the build out of the Equestrian Center project. And wanted to take this first 2 meetings on housing to introduce and give some background and just general parameters on the housing component of the project. There's a request for the housing study, Danny, which we will share after this meeting. Wanted to give some context first, just so everyone understands where that piece of this fits. But yeah, we'll share that either tonight or in the morning. To give Taskforce members time and some space to study that. I had a meeting in October to discuss in more detail. So this is really intended to be just an introductory kind of overview. And I'm joined by Mitchell with Host. Host, in addition to the mayor's office, has been integral in helping develop the approach for this component of the project. And so Rice here to answer specific questions, and we'll next one as well. Yep, awesome. Okay, so before we dive into some of the detail, I want to go back a little bit and just give some background on how we arrived at housing as part of this project to begin with. So when the authority, Steve and his team were doing the initial outreach several years ago now, one of the things that we heard consistently from the community was the need for housing more broadly in the GES neighborhoods, but specifically the opportunity to include housing on the campus in some fashion. It was one of the 270 plus ideas that was generated through that initial outreach that became part of the RFP for the developer for the Equestrian project. So it was baked into that kind of initial outreach and feedback that we had at the beginning. The project itself had always had several pad sites, so areas of the site. As Steve mentioned, it's a big site, 17, almost 18 acres. A lot of that is taken up with the Equestrian Center, the hotel, the parking garage, but there were portions of the site that we were not going to be planning to develop as part of this that were essentially pad sites for future development. And the opportunity came up to take one of those pad sites and include a housing component in this project. So that's what we're going to be briefing on tonight. So a little bit of background, go to the next slide. Why here? So I wanted to talk a little bit about the context of the campus and why this is an appealing location for the housing component. So first of all, and we'll go into a larger site plan here shortly, but the location of this component of the project is right across the street from the riverfront open space. So it sits up on one of the high points of the site, overlooking the open space that will never be developed. Fantastic views of the mountains. It has great access to downtown, with the new bridge across the Platte, and the second bridge coming, with the pedestrian bridge ultimately connecting over to RTD commuter rail. And it obviously has a lot of recreational amenities with a South Platte Regional Trail along the river, New Heron Park or Carpio Sanguinetti, Heron Pond Regional Park across the other side of the river, as well as the amenities that the campus itself provides. So it's a unique location, and it offers a unique opportunity to bring housing to the site. Go to the next slide. We see a closer view, sort of site plan of the Equestrian project specifically. And I'll highlight in the upper corner, as Steve mentioned earlier, it's number 13 that nobody can read from here. That is roughly the footprint of the housing component and the location as it relates to the Equestrian Center itself. That's the large shape, just to the bottom of that right there. And as I mentioned, that was a pad site, and we saw the opportunity to include that pad site as a housing component as part of this project. It is part of the larger Equestrian Center project. So that includes the Equestrian Center itself, the hotel, the parking garage, armor, all the things Steve listed. All of that is part of the funding envelope that was approved by council a little earlier this year. So the housing component is part of that funding for the overall project. That's how it's being developed. And it is this is all city land and will remain city land. These are city facilities. So the intent is that the housing component will remain a city asset. The city will have ownership of this in perpetuity. In terms of operations of the housing, specifically, that is still being determined. We're working through the details of what that looks like, what are the options, how that would work. So that's yet to be determined. And part of the work that we still have to do as we move forward. A little bit maybe of context of where we are in the process. We are working towards an initial conceptual design for this structure. So we will share some specifics here. You can talk about how the housing market study informed the current design that we have. We are continuing to refine that design and working within the overall project schedule towards a construction start sometime next year. And Steve can talk about more of that if there's specific questions on timing on the project as a whole. So next slide, please. Okay, here are the highlights of the housing component. And I maybe want to clarify, in the past, we were calling this workforce housing. I think we want to clarify, because that's not necessarily a very specific technical term.
It is.
And I think we wanted to talk about it more in terms of income restricted housing. And be more broad, because a lot of people, well, everybody works in some fashion or another, and specifically calling it workforce housing is not necessarily reflective of where we think the project is going. So, high level overview, approximately 40 units, and we're still working through the details right now. We had heard in a lot of that initial outreach and ongoing conversations with the community that larger bedroom counts in these units are important, specifically for these neighborhoods. So you can see the current projected unit mixes of 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 1 bedroom are 25, 45, and 30% respectively. So that's how the current unit mix is laying out. And you can also see the square footages, which are above what you typically see for those size units in other projects around the city. And then, as I mentioned, the affordability is a central component, 100% income restricted. This will all be rentals. And then the table that's shown here is actually pulled out of the housing study, which we will share. But as a quick highlight, you can start to see some of the recommended AMI levels per that report. I will note, you'll see the total here at the end of that on the right side says 33 units. That study was premised on a 33 unit minimum. Since that study was completed, we are working towards the 40 units that are shown here. But to give you a sense of the range of AMI levels and that affordability that you're looking at, that's a quick snapshot. Obviously, there's a lot more detail in the study, which we will share and can have much more detailed conversations at the next meeting. Once folks have had a chance to review that. In terms of parking, we are providing or planning to provide approximately 33 parking spots in a podium format. So this will be five levels of 5 levels of housing over a single podium level at the bottom. And then there will be amenities associated with this feature. The exercise room, storage space, in-unit washer dryer, and common gathering area. Again, largely driven by recommendations from the study, as well as what we think will be appealing, in this unique location that we have in the heart of our National Western Center campus. That is a very quick overview, and I'm sure there'll be lots of questions, so I wanted to set the stage and then open it up. Yes.
In the spirit, thank you, first of all, this is very helpful, and you see there's been some changes since past presentations, so that's encouraging. In the spirit of like demystifying the AMI levels, I just like modified the Chapman charts and had them made bilingual, and then on the back of these, there's some like PES specific data that finds that CU Denver very helpful. So I just want to share those around since, you know, we've got a printer and we have that data. Yes.
Can we get a PDF of that too to show?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to share.
Great.
But yeah, I'm just gonna pass these.
So the table up there, is that the number of units that will be within the specific AMI?
So, yes, with the caveat that that's based on a 33 unit, and they've now increased the unit count to 40, so they will proportionally scale up. But that's currently a kind of a rough definition of how we would see that.
Okay, I'm not sure, but at least the last time I checked, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but 100% AMI is families that make over $100,000. I don't know about you, but that does not feel like what we're marketing today. So let's just make sure that our message that is that this is going to be housing, either A for the community or B as housing that's supporting lower income families. 100% AMI, at least in my mindset, is not revolution. So if we're gonna market that way, then I would also like the AMI to be represented.
Yeah, I would say the 80% and 100% AMI units, especially right now in Denver, rents have come down a little bit recently. Those are about market rate rents. So 80% and 100% are more or less what you can find without an income restrictions in place. So they would be, yeah, so there was a moderate income households, and that's kind of what's available on the market currently. And then I think maybe to the point you're making, is those are a little less, they're less serving of lower income families, those are serving sort of less ones out there in the market. Whereas especially getting down to 60, 50, and especially the 30 and 40%. That's really what it's more.
Clarifying question, this table on the bottom left, area median income, area being census tract.
Yeah, so
Percent of 69.
yeah, so 100% for global area Swansea combined census tracts is 69,000 is 100%. Rental in general, like this is talking about Denver County regulation and income restrictions and rent restrictions go by county. So that is the Chapa countywide income restriction. It's a very large difference. Yes. I have so many questions. I won't like, I don't have to ask all of them. But like, can you speak to, because market rate citywide is very different from market rate in GES. And that's shifting in part because of the public investment that's been really focused in these neighborhoods. But can you speak a little bit to the difference currently between market rate rent in these neighborhoods as opposed to the wider Denver metro?
Yeah, I mean, we do know historically, and I don't have like very up to the minute data from this area, but this area would have a lower market rate rent. Yeah, you could find when they're available, sometimes there's not, right? But when there are houses available in this area, they're gonna be lower than some other parts of the city, like downtown or Cherry Creek. So yeah, rents here tend to be a little lower. And I would point out too that the amounts that are listed here is the maximum that can be charged to a household at that amount. And one of the things that's different about this property is that because it's a city-owned property, that's an upper cap. That doesn't mean that's what the rent would be. And part of the idea of the higher AMI units being, or having a number of having units available to households at different income levels is that people could stay in place even if their income increases. And that we could also, the city or the operator in the future, who hasn't been identified yet, could actually charge much less than what the maximum amount is, so that it is serving the current market, the current households in the current market environment that we're in. Like, you would never want to be charged for having a rent that's more than what a market rate apartment would cost. But that's some of the detail we worked out over time and with an operator, as in the future, yeah.
And then, I just want to clarify, I think I heard Mike, you say that 2C dollars and overall project dollars for National Western will be used for this housing. Can you clarify? My understanding is that, and to your quote, he was a housing developer, right? I'm director of development, like, and numbers matter. We get about 100,000 from the city per 3-bedroom unit. And we managed to get our homeownership costs to 50% AMI for ownership. So I'm a little confused about how, like, y'all have $800 million. I'm curious what percentage is going into these units, what number is going in per unit. Y'all have some free land as well. So it's really like the math isn't mapping that has that high of an income mix in my understanding. And maybe, if I see the budget or, your sort of rough pro forma, I would have a better understanding of why this income mix is being proposed. But right now, it seems like this is something that attracts gentrification and furthers displacement in these neighborhoods. So I guess I'm just confused. Why that income mix would be necessary.
I could just say, at least from host perspective, and we have not talked at all about like a per unit subsidy, and at this point, we wouldn't be putting any host dollars in. So, host, we have our own affordable housing fund that we invest into properties. Because there are some resources here, we wouldn't need to be doing that. Yeah, like there wouldn't be, and so, we often do have like a per unit subsidy amount that we'd invest in a project. I don't know if you all have broken out. It's such a very different model.
Right. Yeah,
It is.
Doesn't have that kind of.
Right.
It's unique in that there's almost an endless supply of subsidy. I mean, it's amazing.
I would say that.
You wish it was endless because that.
But $800 million is a lot of money.
Well, to be clear, that's the overall funding
Yeah.
envelope. The actual funding for construction of the overall project is 350 to 400 million.
Yeah.
Not that that's not, small change, it's still substantial, sure. And so what we're looking to do is how can we incorporate, given that this is a unique situation, how can we find the opportunity to incorporate housing into this larger project that still keeps it within the overall budget with everything else that the project needs to accomplish? So that's the kind of math exercise that we're continuing to do on our side, and we're still early on in the planning and design.
Well, whatever transparency we can negotiate, I think would be very appreciated in that process.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm on the fifth way, so please.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, just go, 2 comments. One, we talked about the washer, dryer, and the dishwasher being included in all 3 bedrooms, the 2 bedrooms, and the 1 unit, and the 1 bedroom as well. So all of those units will have those amenities, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing is that, I'm assuming that this building will be a green building or a self-sustaining building, and what I mean by that statement is that we'll have solar to drive down the electrical cost, to reduce the cost, the maintenance or the building cost for the residents, and no gas will be used at all to be in compliance with the new zoning code requirements from the city and county of Denver. So therefore, that another reduction should be able to help these residents maintain the living space, the quality of life in these units, and any other green components that you could add this to the building here was really helpful for the residents that are thinking these.
So EV ready, like solar ready, but we're looking at the common space might be more rooftop. It just depends on how much actual roof space to have the PV, so we're balancing that.
they'll meet all new code requirements, so looking at what kind of natural gas versus electricity, but most likely electricity, because the new code requires that. So yes, it will have the sustainability requirements.
Yeah, and I'm just also, in general, we're coming back in October to have, ongoing conversations, so we will bring the details. On that, is there anything else specifically, what people would like to see, more information? We can do that in this coming month and bring that additional information for our ongoing conversation.
We're gonna go to you. Yes, or do you have one?
I think, yeah.
Yes, so I was
Then we
gonna
go to
something a little bit similar to Armando. Since you have the National Western Energy plans there, I don't know how to call them. Yeah, the one that is in CSU right now. Is that gonna be available also for this housing? Because I mean, we have to put up with the smell, and I keep saying that should be also going to the neighborhood, not just to sustain CSU and the National Western, but since we have to live here 24/7, we have to put up with the car walls and all the time. Why don't use that also? I know it's helping a lot, but when I use it also for those housing, for that housing that is gonna be developed.
Yep. Yeah, we're looking at that right now. Yeah, I can respond to that. So the central utility plan is the sewer heat recovery, and it's clean water that goes through, but it's the using heat from effluent. Essentially, that flows from Denver. It's amazing. It's almost like geothermal, but instead of digging deep into the earth to find heat, there's actually just hot water flowing through the campus from people showering, dishwashers, laundry. That's what you're describing, the central utility plant. There, it is capped to handle a certain number of buildings. We are looking at what it would take to connect the housing, and to connect the hotel component, as those were not originally anticipated when we built the cup. But there's a little bit more capacity left over in the cup, and we're trying to see what it would take to connect those assets, so that it is, not burning natural gas to heat, and instead using on the.
I'm gonna go to Ralph, and then I'm gonna go to you, Angela.
Has there been any discussion regarding job opportunities in this housing unit? Because it takes a lot of work to keep and upkeep the housing unit. So the people in the neighborhood, will there be opportunities for them to become a maintenance worker in this housing unit?
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be part of the conversation as we get farther along and actually understand who the operator will be and how it's all gonna unfold. But yeah, absolutely.
I think that would be really, really helpful for the community to know they can travel a small distance to go to work to take care of their own neighborhood.
Yeah, and I just a point on that. I mean, we intend to have pretty robust conversation around jobs during operation of all of these assets. It's just, several years out, before it makes sense to really start having that. I mean, I know there's training that needs to happen, and we would try to start this conversation a good year out before these assets are opening, but that's part of our, future years and the discussions we want to have.
Let me go to Angela, and then I'm gonna go to Maria.
Thank you, Catherine. So two things, listening to Armando and Sandra made me think of, and I can't think of the term, but there's also like where there's too much light in areas and it brings in more pollution, and we are already one of the most polluted zip codes in the United States. So I'm just wondering if all the new buildings that are being built on the campus, is there something going to be done about that? Because you can look out in the winter and you can just see under the streetlights that that's all pollution. And as an asthmatic, it really is hard. And when I find out what that word is, I will let you all know. The other thing is, Mike, I don't know if you addressed this, but Steve kind of did. What exactly is when exactly is this whole thing going to take place? Like, how far in the future is the housing going to take place?
You speak to the larger project schedule? Yeah, I mean, the intent is that, that this is opening, all, within a couple of months of each other. And so, that's really up to Pencil Phelps on you know, what asset they want to start first and, but we're expecting a grand opening of everything kind of near the same time. We are looking for ways, to build the parking garage faster because it's a simple standalone structure. And we are losing most of our surface parking because we're building on this site. The site is currently surface parking. John,
Okay.
if you're still on, you want to add any to that?
No, I think you hit it on the head, Steve, that we would be targeting, you know, kind of a completion similar with the other projects.
And you know, forgive me, I go to a lot of meetings, so there's a lot of timelines in my head. So could somebody please refresh my brain as to what that timeline is?
Yeah, Angela, we're still working on the timeline, but we are anticipating at some point in 2028.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
And then I also just want to not lose track of your first question, Angela, about, I don't know if you're referring to light pollution specifically as the term. But this will fit within the broader campus guidelines for sustainability. And, you know, full cutoff light fixtures to minimize light going up and out instead of staying down the ground where it's supposed to be. I'm not sure if that's really addressing your question or not, but if not, and if you think of the term, let me know and we can address it next month for sure.
I think that's it, Steve. Yes, I think that's it, Mike. Thank you.
Just note too, that any residential development and knowing that it's, you know, that this is gonna be someone's home, you know, the standards are a little different than other kinds of building types. So, you know, so we're making sure that, for example, if there's lights near, you know, bedroom window, a home window, to be really attentive to that. Just knowing building codes and standards would be higher, for the kind of residential housing, residential development.
Other questions or comments? Oh, Maria.
Le quería hacer una pregunta. ¿Cómo le va a poder hacer la comunidad para poder rentar una casa de o dónde se puede apuntar o cómo le puede hacer?
My question is, how does a member of the community go about to be able to rent one of those units? Do you write your name down somewhere, or what do you have to do to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a few years away, but that would be part of the city working with an operator to make sure that we're doing really strong local information about how to sign up, you know, how to get into the program. We also, the city has a prioritization policy where we would, you know, people who are from this neighborhood, who are at risk of being displaced would have priority points to get into affordable housing around the city. And we would make sure that this property is really strongly advertised and is local, so that local investors can sign up to move in. And that would really be on the operator, so it's very important to choose a strong operator.
I have a question. Go ahead, Armando.
Yeah, just one, on your lease agreements, how are they gonna be structured, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, perpetuity? Or how are they gonna be structured? Or is that yet to be determined?
It's a yet to be determined, but I would say any income restricted unit, any covenant that the city puts on for income restricted units, they have to be at least 1 year leases, like
Minimum of one?
some amount of.
What would be the maximum, just a ballpark?
I don't know if there is a maximum, but we could, you know, if there's interest and from the community that you want to go ahead and.
Well, I'm thinking about, ADA, American Disabilities Act, for people that obviously have health issues and their mobility. Really, I mean, for them to pick up and move because